Bang, bang,
Ladies and gentlemen,
bang.
thank you for
Bang.
tuning in. You are
Bang.
now
Bang.
listening to the Take It to the Bank
Bang.
podcast,
Bang.
the number one sports podcast.
Go.
Take it to the bank, take it to the bank, take it to the bank, take it to the bank. Matt coming with the facts, Frat coming with the facts. Number one podcast, ain't no debate about that.
Lamar Jackson is a running
Jeez,
back.
oh my God, here we go.
Lamar Jackson is a running back. Wow. You know, I see you're walking away here. But I got to rant a little bit.
Why? We already know. We saw the game. The jokes have already been made. We recording on Thursday.
Lamar Jackson threw 85 completion percentage, 324 yards, 5 touchdowns, and a perfect passer rating of 158.3. The youngest player to ever throw a perfect passer rating, 17 of 20. And all the running back jokes can be put to bed, right? They can all be done. It's all over.
Well, maybe.
Oh, wait, but they played the tanking Dolphins. And I want to talk about the game. The Ravens looked different than the past 4 years starting out. They didn't have Joe Flacco behind center. It looked a lot different, especially with Lamar and the new offense this year. And the Ravens won by 49 points, winning 59-10. What did you see out of that game, and what did you like, and what do you want to see more of from Lamar Jackson and the Ravens?
So, a lot of things I saw. Lamar looked really, really good. I said he was going to have a kind of a breakout season this year, and my prediction has been somewhat right. And I think a player that not a lot of people are focusing on, everybody's talking about Marquise Brown, and he had an amazing game. And also, the production that he had is only off of 12 offensive snaps.
Incredible.
12 offensive snaps. So he could be a dynamic player, even though we had some doubts with him coming out of the draft. He looks like he could be the big deal. The only other thing we need to worry about now is injury concern with him. So let's go to the other wide receiver. I think that made a really big impact and not too many people talking about Miles Boykin. What did I say about Miles Boykin when he came out of the draft? He might be one of the best wide receivers in this whole draft. I did say that, didn't I?
Yeah,
I
you
said
did.
it on this podcast because he has the size, he has the speed, he could be a beast. And look what he did. He had an amazing game against Miami's defense. That is dog trash, basically, beside Howard. And Howard didn't even really have a good game. I mean, so I think it really showed how good this offense can be. But I think everybody should kind of take a step back and look at the bigger picture here. This is against a trash Dolphins team.
Yeah.
But it's good. But the good thing to come out of this is that this shows that the Ravens can beat the trash teams. They can destroy the trash teams. And that's a team, and that's what you like to see out of a playoff team. But now with them going to Arizona next week, we might see the same deal. We might see them go off again because their defense is absolutely terrible. Offensive line, trash. I mean, and Kyler Murray, I mean, he did show up in the fourth quarter, but he didn't really show up until it. So, it's just the point of fact is that the Ravens are going to do well against the bad teams. I like to see when they actually go against some real competition and see how that offense does. When they go against a strong secondary. I mean, they still could do fine, but we also need to think about how young their receiving core is, how young Lamar is, and basically how young the running backs are outside of Mark Ingram. This offense is really, really young. And this is kind of a stepping point for them. It's a good stepping point, good way to start the season off. But I like to see how they do for the rest of the year. But really good start for the Ravens. Lamar Jackson showed that he's not a running back. He's not a nickel back. Patty rack of bone. Ravens in the AFC North.
Oh, God. I've been waiting for this all week. Lamar Jackson is not running back. I tried to tell everybody. And Frack agreed with me on this, and he has stood by Lamar Jackson this whole time, and I will give him credit. A lot of people thought this was going to be the same exact offense that the Baltimore Ravens ran last year. A lot of option, a lot of running. This was completely different. They were in different sets, a lot of shotgun. RPOs were involved, but it was more of letting Lamar Jackson sling the ball. They had a 100-yard rusher in Mark Ingram, but to get your ball to your rookie and Marquise Brown and to let him do what he does best to get him rolling and let Lamar and him get a connection was huge for the first week. And I understand that the Dolphins have a bad tanking team, but they have Rashad Jones who's not a bad safety. Let's not forget that. And Minica Fitzpatrick, who is the highest cornerback paid in the NFL right now. So let's not act like the Dolphins secondary is bad. Now, one thing I will say, their front end rushing is horrible. It gave Lamar Jackson a lot of time, but what was promising was Lamar threw great passes in good coverages, even though he had time in the pocket, and he only ran the ball 3 times for 6 yards, and you'd love to see it. Do you think the Ravens win the AFC North after the Browns collapsed and the Steelers collapsed?
Okay, this is only week 1, and I already picked the Ravens to win the AFC North, and I want to stay by my opinion with that. That's just because I see we saw the potential of how good this team could be, how young and fast they are, and the offense rebuilt, and some of the defensive parts, some of the secondaries, one of the best secondaries, and even though they were going against Fitzmagic and then Josh Rosen at the end of the game, the secondary looked really good. The whole defense looked really, really, really good. When you give up, they only gave up 3 or 10? What was it? I think it was one of those. It was
10 points.
10 points. 10 points the whole game. 3 points going into halftime.
Yep.
And your offense puts up what? What was that at halftime? 45?
Yeah, I think it was 43 points at halftime, which against anybody is incredible to do.
Exactly.
That's hard to do.
Exactly, because I think the other side of this is this is still an NFL team. This is a team that has NFL talent. Might not be the best NFL talent, but this can really show us how Lamar Jackson and how the offense is really going to be this year. And I feel like they really haven't they unlocked the potential. But man, I know Lamar doesn't need to run all the time. But man, imagine mixing the passing.
Oh my God, and the running.
And get 10 carries.
It would be really hard to stop.
He would be one of the most. He'd be just like Michael Vick.
Maybe even better if he developed into something great.
And I think developing. His accuracy was on point. But your accuracy would be on point when your wide receivers are wide open. So it's just
but not all the touchdowns were wide open. The one to Willie Snead was a really good throw.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. And I'm not saying that Lamar Jackson had easy, the whole game he has easy throws. What I'm saying is, it's just that, I love to see how this offense goes against, a real defense. And that's going to be, a game of the week. That's going to be a big game.
What's interesting is that I know this week they don't play a tough team. I expect the Ravens to roll over Arizona. That should be expected. Yep. But the week after that, they play the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, that is a good defense. Not a great one, but a good defense. Lamar Jackson against Pat Mahomes. I think that should be a 4 o'clock game, and there's a 1 o'clock game, which is kind of ridiculous. It's in Kansas City.
It should be flexed to Sunday night.
Yeah, last year the Ravens lost by a game game winning for Kansas City field goal in Kansas City, which in overtime. So I would love to see it as a Sunday night game, but that is one game that we're going to look out for. Another AFC North team who struggled, like I mentioned, Cleveland Browns. The hype, Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, Baker Mayfield, a top 10 quarterback already in the league, quote unquote, a lot of people. Nick Chubb. This defense, Myles Garrett. I can go on and on about this talent, and they get rolled over at home the first week, 43-13 by a Titans team who seemed like they were an 8-8 team all over again. So, what do you see from Cleveland? Is this maybe
So I did say last week it was going to be a complete blowout for the Browns.
Yeah.
And that's just because I I underestimated Tennessee.
Mhm.
I really did. I underestimated them. They had a really, really good game. I thought the Browns would come up to a hot start and then slow down. But as I know, a lot of people had me upset saying earlier in the year when the Browns hype started, I said they're not going to make the playoffs. They're going to be a 7-9, 8-8 team. And I said that. You can check it on record. And this shows why. Why is that? Because they're inexperienced. Baker Mayfield had a terrible game.
Mhm.
Terrible
3
game.
interceptions.
In the first half.
Yeah.
In the first half.
No, wait. He had 2 interceptions in the
first half. Yeah, in the first quarter. Yeah,
Fourth quarter.
fourth quarter.
One of them being a pick 6.
Oh no, who was the quarterback that had 300? Oh, that was Josh Allen.
Yeah, Josh Allen was awful on Sunday. But anyway.
But the defense didn't show up. They let a Tennessee core of A.J. Brown, who I really liked in the NFL draft this year. I thought he was going to be a first-round pick, but then slipped to the third, right? I think A.J. Brown slipped to the third, which I was really surprised about.
Yeah.
A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, Delaney Walker. I mean, that's it's not a good wide receiving core, but when you talk about the secondary that they have, Randall, Greedy Williams, Denzel Ward, who's our other safety? My God,
Darius Randall.
And now I say Randall.
Oh, Terrence Mitchell.
Yeah, Terrence Mitchell. I mean, whatever. He's solid. But when you're saying with some of that talent that they have, this raises questions like maybe Greedy Williams wasn't supposed to be a first-round pick. Maybe he wasn't supposed to be a third or fourth-round pick, but the hype was just because of how weak this cornerback class was. Yeah. You know? Or
he was a second-round pick, but yeah.
He was a second-round pick, but people were saying that he could fall to day 3.
Yeah.
So it was just maybe they were right about that. And then also how, just the offensive line did not look good at all. They didn't. They were letting Cameron Wake have a career game.
Yeah. Cameron Wake's 80 years old.
Exactly, and they let an 80-year-old man that had to walk in
80-year-old
with a freaking walker and has to get his knees arthritis right before he gets onto the freaking field.
I'm pretty sure I could have gone out there and had 3 sacks against that offensive line. That was something to watch, man. I'll tell you what, Baker Mayfield. I love Baker. I loved him since the OU days, but man, did he look awful on Sunday? And a big part of it.
Days. Why are you seeming like this was he's been in the league for 25 years?
But anyway, he looked awful. It seemed like he was trying to force the ball to Odell Beckham a lot more than he should have, and that's going to be a problem during the year, especially if this offensive line isn't good and you're trying to force it to your number 1 receiver when you have other guys potentially open. They act like they don't have Jarvis Landry on the other side or David Njoku in the middle. This is the problem that I have with the Browns. It's a lot of talent, a young quarterback and veteran wide receivers that are looking to get the ball, and he doesn't know where to go with it. So he automatically goes to Odell Beckham, forced 3 interceptions, 2 of them going to Odell Beckham that way. I don't see the Browns winning this division. I never did. I picked Pittsburgh to win the division. Now it's an overreaction because it is week 1. They get a break next week with Sam Darnold being sick with mono.
Oh, pray for that man. Mono sucks.
Yeah.
Mono is the worst thing that happened. I would not pray that on my worst enemy. I had that, I think it's 2 years ago now. I had mono, and I got it in the first day of February. I was out of school for the whole month of February. And then it was last week of July into February, and then I had 4 days that I was off mono, I was feeling better. Then I had shoulder surgery, so it was just I basically got hit both ways with it, and mono sucks. Mono, and the other thing, he might be back in a couple of weeks, but mono is a serious thing. Mono could be years. That could be years. So prayers out to Sam Darnold. I know how mono goes. So hopefully he'll get healthier. They have a really good medical staff, so it's not like he's in a third world country or something dying. So hopefully he'll be out on the field as fast as he can.
Yeah. And just to end on the Browns, I think that their offensive line, I've said from the beginning, the problem is offensive line and not enough defensive backs to really win.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they have Denzel Ward, but after that, you're looking at a rough secondary. So this has been the problem the whole time with the Browns, and they got humbled. So we're going to see how they react to that, and maybe they'll bounce back, but I don't see it. I want to go over one more AFC North team, and that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. They looked awful. They looked the worst out of all four teams. Cincinnati looked 10 times better than both the Browns and the Steelers. So where do the Steelers go from here? What I mean, it is week 1. They did play possibly the best team in the NFL, but at the same time, 33-3, they don't even score a touchdown. It looks like they have no weapons. It looks like they have no defense. What does Pittsburgh do?
Oh, here's what we call the old age effect. Ben Roethlisberger is not how he used to be. I don't care how much he's on his radio station talking about how other players suck. He needs to take responsibility for this game. He looked terrible, absolutely terrible. But you can't really – there's a lot about this game that you can say, but it's you really have to blame it on just how solid the secondary was for the Patriots, how they could have covered up everybody, how the front seven was eating up Connors and Samuels, like not even letting them get a chance. And then on the flip side, the offense, I mean, even though they lost their center, who had blood clots in his lungs, they still looked really good against kind of an underrated defensive line, you know, and they worked really well. But you cannot stop Tom Brady when he has Josh Gordon, Julian Edelman out there running around like fools, catching the ball left and right. Like it's nothing. Like I mean, it's just the matter of fact is, it's a hard game, but it had to be a closer game for me to see that. And I think people should kind of overreact. I really think so. Yeah. Just because this is a game that they were supposed to, if not win, keep it close as hell, and people are scared of you too. And you just got bullied. You just look like the Dolphins. You look like Arizona, and hopefully they can bounce back. But I am very skeptical about them this year. Really am. AB and Le'Veon are getting missed so much right now.
Yeah, and here's another thing that I tried to say last year and nobody would believe me. Juju Smith-Schuster is not a number 1 receiver. I've said it since everybody was saying, oh, I can't wait till Antonio Brown's gone. He's not, because Antonio Brown takes away the double team from Juju, and Juju is going against a second or a third cornerback. And now he's going against the one. He went against Stephon Gilmore, got locked up. Now, again, he's playing probably against the best cornerback in football, but still, to only have 6 catches for not even 80 yards is not a great game, and not showing up for your team, not even scoring a touchdown. James Conner had 10 carries for 21 yards, 2.1 average. It's not good enough. You need more from those two guys to really succeed. And this, I mean, if you look at this Steelers wide receiver core, it's not good. They relied heavy on Ryan Switzer, who is a mediocre third receiver at best. James Washington, they expected a lot out of this guy. He had 2 catches for 51 yards, which is a good day, but it seemed like they're trying to spread the ball a lot, like to Dante Moncrief, Jalen Samuels, Juju Smith. They have all these they have Juju Smith and all these mediocre guys, and it's not going to be enough to take them over the edge to possibly make the playoffs. I'm going to overreact and say Pittsburgh does not make the playoffs this year with how the AFC North is going to wind up. Do you think that they may be getting in as a wild card? Because I don't see it.
I only see one team coming out in the AFC North, and that's going to be the Baltimore Ravens. And I think that with the fact of how Pittsburgh played, and it's going to be between for a wild card spot, it's going to be between Chiefs and Chargers. I really still think so. Chiefs and Chargers, one of them going to take the wild card, and then the other one's probably going to get to Houston. Houston or Indy. I really think Indy. I already said it. Indy might still be a playoff team. So,
well, if we're taking a look at Pittsburgh's schedule, this is exactly why they have the Seattle Seahawks next week. Rough. 49ers.
You said Atlanta Falcons next week?
No, Seattle Seahawks. They
Oh,
got
okay.
Seattle. Then they got the 49ers. Then the Bengals, who are division rivals, so let's not overlook them necessarily. They looked good the other day. Then they have Baltimore. Then they have the Chargers. And then a couple weeks later, they have the Rams, Browns. I mean, Browns too, and then the Ravens again. I could possibly see them as maybe a 7-9, maybe even 6-10 team this year. I don't think that.
Okay.
I really think so. Like, I mean, I think they're going to lose to Seattle. I think that they might lose to the 49ers. Their defense might be legit this year, as Max came on and told us, and he was probably right because they looked really good on Sunday, their defense, and they had 3 turnovers. Remember what he said about turnover ratio? So then there's that. They have the Chargers and the Ravens. I think the Ravens and Steelers split. I mean, we're looking at a lot, not enough to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, me. I think it's probably gonna be 8, 9, and 17. I mean, they still have talent, and they're still. I think they still blow out some of the teams, but it's not enough for a playoff spot, especially how strong the AFC is.
I don't think they have any defense at all.
Outside like T.J. Watt,
TJ Watt, maybe Devin Bush, but he's a rookie. Joe Hayden. That's
Hayden.
about all you're looking at.
Yeah, really. It's just that I don't know. It's weird. I mean, it's weird talking about Pittsburgh not being a dominant team anymore.
Yeah, I mean, they might have to.
Or being a team that fear in the you know, like when you go up on them against Sunday, like it's kind of weird saying that, but now they don't have a quarterback to back him up because he just got traded to freaking Jacksonville and Josh Dobbs. I mean they have a lot. Oh my God, who was the guy he picked? Mason Randolph. Rudolph, whatever.
We could be seeing him sooner than later.
I really think so. I mean, we just need. I mean, that is kind of the overreaction. That Big Ben's not going to have a good year.
Yeah,
but
that's a huge overreaction. But
I mean,
in 2 years, I could see Mason Rudolph as the number 1 quarterback.
I mean, that's the thing. The Steelers have always had a solid, like, young backup. I mean, Landry Jones looked good when he came in, and I don't know. It's just weird. I feel like Big Ben is ready to be done soon. Yeah. And it was a great career for him. But, I mean, I think he really needs to think about
So you're calling Big Ben you're telling Big Ben to hang it up. Hang up the cleats.
I think so.
After a great year last year.
I think the aging and all the distraction he had to deal with this offseason really took a toll on him. So
interesting. I think Mike Tomlin's fired after this year. He has to be fired. I have said this and said most overrated coach in the last 10 years. I don't care what anybody says. When you have A.B., Le'Veon, and Big Ben, you don't win any Super Bowls. It's kind of ridiculous. But we got to move on from this. So tonight we have the Panthers playing, but they played the Rams on Sunday. And I wasn't impressed by Cam.
Hold up. We're not going to talk about the Eagles?
We're going to talk about the Eagles. Chill. Okay, man, they played the Redskins. If you want, you know what? I'm going to get back to the Panthers. Let's talk about the Eagles. They looked like crap the first half. I ain't going to lie. They looked like crap.
I will agree. They look terrible.
I don't think this is worthy enough to talk on here because you played the Redskins. Case Keenum threw for over 300 yards. Okay. 380 yards and 3 touchdowns. And we're
going to talk about the Ravens blowing out the Dolphins. We're going to talk about much because it's just because you're a Ravens fan and I'm an Eagles fan, and you don't like the Eagles, so you don't want to talk about them. Dude, that's why.
But there's a difference. So you have a team that is expected to go to the Super Bowl this year. So why would we talk about the Eagles beating the Redskins when that is 100% expected? Like, this is different. Lamar Jackson is a second-year player. Carson Wentz is in his 4th year. I mean, we got to expect this from a guy. He had a good game. I got to give it to him. He came back. He had 313 yards, 3 touchdowns. I'm very mad that Jordan Howard is not the starter. As we can tell, there is no real starter.
They're doing true committee this year. But one thing I like to talk about is how bad our secondary is.
Jackson.
Yes, Deshaun Jackson is. Yeah, what I told you. What did I tell you? The connection is real. The connection is true.
It's 100% real.
Yep.
Deshaun Jackson's an animal.
Yep, and he's back, baby. And we're all going to be good. But the secondary, though, what in the world? I mean, I try to defend them,
I
and
told you.
and I mean, I think it might help, like, when, like, games, I don't know.
I told you that
Maybe.
secondary is not good. It's not
Well,
at all.
the safeties look. I mean, well, outside of Alejandro, he was terrible. But like McLeod and Jenkins were making plays. It
Yeah,
was like
of course. That's what you expect. But the DBs
exactly.
are bad.
Oh my god! I mean, like you really let Terry McLaurin
Yeah.
go ham. Like look like a freaking all-star.
He
And then
looked
Vernon
like a wide
Davis,
receiver one
and
after getting rid of Paul Richardson.
and then Vernon Davis. You know.
Oh my God, that was the craziest play I've ever seen in except for the Odell Beckham catch. Like that was the craziest play I've seen since then. The guy like
Alejandro can't hit. He's a big hitter. That's what his name is. He can hit. No, he can't. He can't bring out 38-year-old tight end.
That was insane. That was so, especially for his grandfather. That was awesome, or his grandmother.
Yeah.
It was really cool. But some good notes. I think the offense looks good enough to win the Super Bowl. I do, 100%. I think you losing Malik Jackson sucks.
Yeah, but I think it doesn't really hurt us too much.
No, I think your D line's great.
I think we still had we have Timmy Jerrigan, who started on the Super Bowl run.
Yeah.
You know, he was our defensive tackle, and he's healthy now, so that should really help. I mean, we have some younger players that we can put up there now. I'm kind of worried about how. I mean, we did good running with the run game, but pass rushing out with Barnett and Graham, that was kind of rough. Our only sack came from Ridgeway. I think, it was like Ridgeway. Haynes Ridgeway, who we traded for in this year's draft, and he actually had a pretty solid game. And he might be
the only sack that came from the defense was Timmy Jerrigan.
My bad. It was Jerrigan. You're right.
Yeah. That's not good enough either from a good D line.
Exactly. I mean, the pass rush did not look that good at all, but I feel like we're going to pick it up next week against Atlanta. Hopefully. I mean, the linebackers, they looked okay. I mean, there really isn't much to say.
I think that's your weakest thing from holding you back from going to a Super Bowl is that defense. I don't think it's good enough to reach a Super Bowl at this moment, but over the course of time, it could get better. We saw it in the Super Bowl run. That's what happened during the Super Bowl year. So we could see it that way too.
And also, we're supposed to get LeBron back. I think LeBron is kind of like an underrated defensive back for us. Strap is his nickname. Hopefully, Strap can come back and play like he did during the postseason last year, because he was ranked as the best defensive back in the whole league in the postseason. Mm-hmm. He looked really, really good. Hopefully, he can come back in that form and really, really help us. And then hopefully Maddox can step it up. Because Maddox had a really good season last year, but this year I know this is the first game, but hopefully he can step it up. Sidney Jones really needs to step it up. Darby is getting double moves. It is killing him.
Well, Darby sucks. Let's not talk about Darby. He's not good.
Hopefully, this is going to be a big test for that secondary this week. It's going to be a really big test.
Yep. One of the best wide receiving corps in the NFL, but we got to move on from the Eagles and talk about the Los Angeles Rams and the Carolina Panthers this past weekend. Carolina does play tonight. I'm going to get this out here before the game tonight so you guys can maybe get a preview of that. But so Cam Newton didn't look bad, didn't look great, but the offense has a lot of problems with having one weapon in Christian McCaffrey. McCaffrey led in receiving, rushing, and touchdowns on Sunday. You need more production out of your wide receiving core to possibly make the playoffs this year. You can't let McCaffrey do it all. DJ Moore technically fumbled twice. One of them was a weird play, but it still counts as a fumble on his part. And Curtis Samuel, the number one receiver, only had 3 catches for 32 yards. So what do you want to see more out of from the Panthers?
Cam Newton needs to step it up, baby. Cam Newton needs to it's kind of a weird situation because the Los Angeles Rams does have such a good defense, a very, very good defense. So I feel like we can see a big difference when they play against Tampa Bay. Yeah. I think Cam Newton should have a pretty solid game tonight. Yeah. But I think, McCaffrey can't do everything. everything, and that's the facts there. But we need like Samuel to step up. We need Paris Campbell to step. No, right? Paris Campbell.
Paris Campbell. For who? The Panthers?
Yeah, is he?
No, Curtis Samuel.
Yeah, Curtis Samuel, and then who's the other guy from
DJ Moore.
Ohio State? They have 2 Ohio State wide receivers.
Darius Wright.
No.
Chris Hogan. Ian Thomas is a tight end. Greg Olson, tight end. None of those guys. I don't know who you're thinking of.
Oh, Paris Campbell plays for Indy. I just
Yeah.
realized that. Yeah, that's okay. But anyway, so
You're an idiot.
I am so I have not been getting any sleep here at school. I think yesterday I got 4 hours. So
Yeah, I haven't been sleeping either.
I've been thriving right now. But anyway, I mean, I think we just need a little bit more stepping up from Cam Newton. He needs to make the throws, and we need Curtis Samuel to step up. DJ Moore really needs to step up. Chris Hogan, who's supposed to be the best, one of the best guys in the league, he needs to step up. The offensive line needs to get better. I mean, they should have an easy time with Tampa Bay defensive line. But also, I think the defense needs to step up. Carolina's defense really, really needs to step up. It was a struggle bus. Everybody get on the bus. It's just.
But here's the thing about that. Jared Goff had a horrible game. He went 23 of 39 for 186, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Imagine throwing the ball 40 times and only getting 186 yards. I mean, that's not a good game. But what killed them is the rush. The rush. Todd Gurley had 14 carries for 97 yards. That's 7 yards a carry. And then their backup, Malcolm Brown, had 4.8 yards per carry, 53 yards. So what I want to see more out of Carolina is let Cam Newton sling the ball more and get it to his receivers. DJ Moore's got to stop fumbling. And the defense has got to stop the run. And that is the biggest issue with Carolina. If they can fix those 3 things, I could see them maybe as a playoff contender. They only lost by 3 and possibly had the worst game of maybe this year because of all the mistakes. So I think Carolina's going to be fine. Speaking of, you got Carolina winning tonight, right? We don't got to talk about that.
I don't know.
You're going to pick Tampa.
I think this is the game that we see Jameis Winston and his offense kind of steps out. But think about it.
Stop.
Let's talk. Matthew, let's talk here. Matthew, look in my eyes.
No.
Look into my eyes.
You can't be for real.
Back to what I was saying was that Winston will have a solid game tonight. We can see this offense kind of, flower up a little bit. Might be looking good a little bit. But I
don't think I can take this anymore. I think we need.
I'm still picking Carolina.
Okay, but what do you expect from Winston? Are you expecting like 300 yards or something?
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a shootout tonight, boys.
I'm taking my headphones off. I'm leaving.
I think people should be expecting a shootout tonight. I really think so. I think both defenses are not strong.
300 yards.
Well, I'm not saying 300 yards. I'm just saying he's going to have a solid game. I think he's going to have 3 touchdowns.
1 interception, 1 touchdown, about 200 yards.
That's 3 touchdowns. 3 touchdowns. Mike Evans is going to catch 2 of them.
Oh, wow. All right.
And then the other one's going to be a swing route by Peyton Barber into the end zone from the 20. So, take it as you will, baby. Take it as you will. I still say Carolina's going to win. I don't know why you're so upset with me.
I'm moving on.
It's going to be a shootout.
Jameis Winston blows. It's not going to be a shootout. Carolina might win by 10 plus tonight. Anyway, let's look over the week 2. And some predictions for some games. We got some good ones next week. Let's start with our favorite teams. Ravens, Arizona. I'm going with the Ravens. I think they win in double-digit fashion. And I say they cover. 13.5-point spread. Biggest spread they've had since they played Indianapolis 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Taking the Ravens?
Uh-huh.
All right, Eagles Falcons. This one's interesting. This one is in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I'm guessing you're taking the Eagles.
I don't know.
Atlanta had a bad showing last week. They got
They did.
destroyed by Minnesota.
They did, but I'm just worried about our defensive backs. I'm very
Because of
worried about Julio and
no.
Calvin Ridley. I mean, it's going to be a really, really close game. It's going to be an absolutely close game. I think it's going to be a difference of 3 points.
Taking the Eagles or Falcons?
Man, I don't know. I don't know because we have beat that team fully healthy with kind of a weak defensive backs before. So I think I'm going to pick the Eagles, but I would not be surprised at all if the Falcons beat us. Not at all. It's going to be a really, really, really good game, and it's a good Sunday night game. It really is.
I'm with you. I'm going with the Eagles. I think that Atlanta struggles a lot. There's something wrong with that offense. They cannot score. The offensive line is banged up. The Eagles' offense is on full cylinder, like all cylinders. Like they are ready to go. And I feel like Atlanta's defense isn't as good as what I intended it to be. I'm gonna take the Eagles, and they'll probably win by 4, 5 points.
It's gonna be a close game. It's gonna be a close game.
Yeah. So the next game. I just want to know how much New England's going to beat Miami by. They
7.
have to beat them by 7?
70.
Tom Brady does struggle with the Dolphins.
He does. You're right, but we might have AB out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we're going to see Jared Stidham in the third quarter.
I'm going with Pats by 20. I'm gonna go Pats by 20.
I'm about 70. I mean that's kind of. I think they're going
70. Oh my god.
I think they're going to win by like probably 30. I think 30 is a good number. It's a high number, so.
All right.
30.
Vikings Packers. Who do you got? This one is in Green Bay, so Green Bay's first game at home. Both had impressive wins in week 1.
Yeah, but are we really going to call the Green Bay game right impressive?
I mean, against the division rival in Chicago, first game of the year, I'd say it's impressive.
But they really struggled. No.
Yeah, but the defense looks a lot better than last year.
Yeah, they did. And I think I'm going to go with Green Bay. I think so. I mean, it's going – I just don't know what to think about Green Bay this year. I really do not. I mean, it's kind of a weird team, really. So I am going to pick Green Bay. I think it's going to be another kind of low-scoring game again, actually. And I feel like the final score is probably going to be 14-10.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm taking Green Bay. I feel like they're going to win 21-13. At home, I feel like they're going to dominate a little bit over the Vikings. And Kirk Cousins can't throw 10 passes for 70-some yards again. Like, I can't believe they won off that. So, Chargers-Lions, really quick. Let's run through these.
Chargers,
yeah, I'm taking the Chargers, too. Just a better team. And they're at Detroit, but they're used to being the away team because when they're at home, they're basically away. Colts-Titans, division rivals. This should be interesting.
I actually picked Titans with a hot hand this week to win.
Mm-hmm. I feel like Titans are going to get on the roll here and beat the Colts. Very impressive win in week 1, and their defense is legit. Let's not sleep on them. Malcolm Butler had a great game last week, and they have Bird. Yep, Bird is one of the best safeties, DBs in the NFL, and everybody slept on him. Jaguars, Texans.
I'll go. I actually will pick. I'm going to pick Houston. It's going to be a close. It's going to be a really close game, though. I think Mansell's going to have a solid game again, and I feel like it's going to be a good game. It's going to be a solid game, but Houston's going to win.
Yeah, I'm taking Houston. They're at home. Deshaun Watson, one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL already, needs to stay healthy, but I feel like Jacksonville's defense was a little bit overrated coming into the season, so I like Deshaun Watson in that matchup. A great rivalry, kind of, even though the Cowboys will probably dominate, but Cowboys-Redskins.
Cowboys.
Mm-hmm.
That's easy.
Yeah, Cowboys better defense, better offense.
That's my lock that's my lock this week. That's
Yeah,
my lock.
that's my lock. Cowboys by a lot.
Yeah.
This one should be interesting. Seahawks Steelers.
I'm going to actually have. I know we were just talking about Ben Roethlisberger and the hang up and all that. I kind of see Pittsburgh kind of bouncing back this week. I feel like Pittsburgh it's going to be in dramatic fashion, but I think it's going to be. I mean, there's a lot of close games this week, and I mean, it just may be that I'm thinking about teams too highly. You know, I might be thinking about teams like too good, but I mean, I feel like the league is kind of like even keel, except with the Patriots. I feel like the league is kind of even, like except like the outliers, like with the Pats or with Arizona and Dolphins. But I feel like everybody in the middle could win a game, you know.
Yeah.
And I think this is kind of more the even keel NFL we have seen in a while.
I think Seattle might be a contender for the Super Bowl this year. I like their team a lot. Adding Jadeveon Clowney to their team and having Bobby Wagner, having Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf looked good the other night, and having Tyler Lockett, they need to get him the ball more for my fantasy team. Please get Tyler Lockett the ball. He didn't have his first catch until his touchdown in the fourth quarter. Let's go, Russell Wilson. I'm taking the Seattle Seahawks in this one in Pittsburgh to win. I don't think Pittsburgh's got enough weapons to overcome that Seattle defense, so I'll probably pick them to win by 3 points. 49ers Bengals. Bengals looked good last week.
49ers. I think it's still going to be 49ers. I mean, I think Jimmy G's really going to come in form this game.
You picked them to only win 6 games this year, and they're going to start out 2-0.
And that's why I said they would start off fast, and then you're going to see them kind of dip down. But if they, you know, I mean, and predictions can change, you know. Like, I mean, that's just like an early season outlook, and you never know. Someone could be prepared. Freaking Dante Pettis needs to do better. There's too many drop passes. Screw you, Dante. 1.7.
Did you lose week 1?
I lost all my games in all my leagues this week.
Oh, my God. Okay. Let's not talk about fantasy football. All right, I'm taking the 49ers. Their defense is tremendously better this year. Richard Sherman looked like old Richard Sherman. I like this 49ers team, and Max might be right. They might be a sneaky playoff team this year. I'm taking the 49ers, but in close fashion, I feel like the Bengals are better than a lot of people are saying. Bills Giants.
You said Bills Giants. Mm-hmm. I have Buffalo coming out this week and winning. I think they're going to start for 2-0. Beat both of the other New York teams back-to-back weeks. So I think Buffalo's going to do well. I feel like the defense is going to be too much for Eli this week. So
what a comeback by Josh Allen last week and that Bills team as a whole. I gotta give it to him. I almost picked the Giants, and then I looked at their report on injuries. They have a lot of injuries this week. I'm going with the Bills this week. I feel like they're going to dominate on the defensive side and get Josh Allen in good position to score at least 17 points again. So I'm hoping Josh Allen has a bounce-back week, and I say that the Bills win in good fashion. Chiefs Raiders. The Raiders made a great they won week 1 to prove they don't need AB. So do they need AB to beat the Chiefs?
Yes. Kansas City is going to win. Doubt about that. That's going to be probably one of the bigger blowouts this week. I really think so.
Yeah, I say the Chiefs by at least 15 points. And also the Chiefs, they're playing in Oakland, but the Chiefs, Sammy Watkins looked incredible. They don't have Tyreek Hill, but that offense, Patrick Mahomes, I mean, is looking like the top offense that they were last year. I'll take the Chiefs by a good margin. My old friend, Joe Flacco, lost his first game. He's playing the Bears, an even harder defense than the Raiders. Who are you taking? You taking good old Joe Flacco?
No, it's going to be Bears. The Bears.
The Bears. Yeah, I'm going to
Bears.
The Bears. It's pretty easy. Bear defense. I feel like Flacco's going to struggle a lot. It's kind of weird, though, to watch Flacco. And now I'm sitting back like with a unbiased view, and I'm like, dang, man, I do not miss a quarterback sitting back there taking sacks on 3rd and 4. Like, that is so irritating.
Yep.
And now Broncos fans see what we went through, but he's still elite. Okay.
Oh, my God.
We picked the Browns for the Browns-Jets game. Obviously, it was Sam Darnold sick. So the last game, this is my favorite game. This should be the Sunday night game. Saints-Rams, the rematch of the NFC Championship game. Who takes it this year?
The Saints are going to get their revenge, boys. They're going to win, and they're going to flip off the refs while running off the field. So, yeah.
I'm taking the Rams. I think Jared Goff's going to have a bounce back week. The Saints kind of got lucky last week. I think Houston is a better team than the Saints potentially. I think they should have beat them, and I feel like the Saints got lucky week 1, and the Rams are going to prove they're at home. Jared Goff's going to get better. Todd Gurley and Malcolm Brown are a great 1-2 punch. Robert Woods. I mean, we're looking at a great offense with the Rams, and I think possibly maybe a better defense if Eric Weddle is healthy this week. I'm taking the Rams. So that's all that we have for you this week on Take It to the Bank podcast. Once again, I am your host, Matthew King. Lamar Jackson is not a running back, and my good old friend Frack is a good but not great NFL commentator / reporter /
good but not great. I will shoot you.
All right, guys.
My name again like that,
see you next week, and go Ravens and go Eagles.
What's up?
Where the better at? You talking numbers, hold up where your data at. You making claims, I'ma need some stats for that. Boy, don't get foul, cause we ain't playing hack a shack. You said you wanna hear some sports talk. Well, if that's really what you wanna do, then you at the right place. Stick around, get comfortable, and don't you tell me that you ain't. Cause it's Take It to the Bank, all facts, cause that's what it has to be, no cap, like the MLB salary. Ay.